Wrestling Podcast. And his name is John Cena.
Do we banter more? Or are we good?
I think
That was the banter.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of one of those, like, this is the behind the curtain, like the Cubs haven't won the World Series yet, so
Yeah.
people will find out whether or not, like,
People will know.
people will know. Damn it, people will know we pre-record these. Fuck. Anyway, it's Friday, November 4th, I swear. It's Friday, November 4th, and you're listening to On the Heels Wrestling Podcast. I'm Brittany.
I'm Kyle. Happy birthday, Dad.
I'm Ray. Happy
Aw.
birthday, Dad, too.
What?
No, just your dad.
Yeah. He doesn't listen.
Aw.
I don't think he knows that we do this.
Yeah, my parents won't listen either.
He'd probably be surprised. He'd be like, wait, you still watch? That probably would be his response if he ever found out. But we are three wrestling buddies, that's the word, who like to conversate and debate. Oh, that's still in there?
Yeah.
Awesome. About our fascination and or strong feelings toward profession wrestling. Read that?
Wrestling?
Exactly. Professional wrestling. This is starting great. No edits, please. We started this podcast at our former place of business, which gave us a space to shoot and entertain you on all the aspects of our debatably favorite pastime without the confused looks we used to get from the rest of the office.
This podcast is all about giving you consistent, bite-sized commentary on the world of professional wrestling, focused primarily on WWE's ever-expanding lineup, though we'll occasionally touch on the local indie scene right here in Seattle, Washington.
That being said, every week we'll either recap the previous week's WWE weekly shows, network specials, and pay-per-views, or we'll hold a roundtable discussion on a particular topic. This week, we will be recapping the excellent 3-2-1 Battle show last Friday, Horror Business.
Yes.
It's their second biggest show of the year, kind of like their SummerSlam, essentially, and it did not disappoint.
Holy crap.
I will argue it was better than Battlemania.
I wouldn't really fight you on that. Like,
You don't kind of remember anything,
Yeah,
so it works out.
So here's the deal. Before the show started, there is a bar that is open.
There's a bar in the lobby, and it is awesome. Thank you, Evolve Fitness, for getting
Yes.
your full liquor license.
That is awesome. So I took full advantage. I was drinking as much as I could.
Which drink has the fruity bullshit in it?
Oh, God.
That's literally an ingredient. It just says fruity bullshit.
Yeah.
I love it every time.
Yeah, it was vodka and fruity bullshit. I don't know which one that was. I just had bourbon.
I had a Cody Von Whistler, which is a Shirley Temple, and then a shot of whiskey, which was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I used to have, so I had the Mr. Fitness themed drink. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had that this time.
I didn't. It's a rotating menu.
Yeah.
It's pretty
the
sweet.
Eddie Van Clam drink has been pretty good.
Yeah, the Capri Sun with the fireball.
yeah.
Oh, that one's
I mean,
good.
you can never go wrong with, the cheaply priced Rainiers or the ciders. So they had a lot more ciders. There's like 3 different ciders this time.
Yeah.
I know. They've got the Seattle cider. They've got the Angry Orchard.
And
Yeah.
it's great because you can get toasted, and then we get to go to our reserved seats because we're hot shit, apparently.
Yeah.
So thank you,
Thank you,
321,
Battle.
because that was definitely needed for some podcast members.
Yeah.
Podcast members who were rolling in from
Mexico.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So I...
Friend of the podcast,
Friend of the
Hombre
pod-
Secreto.
Yeah, Hombre Secreto was there. He was not only there, but he was actually in costume.
Right.
No one recognized him because...
Yeah, well, when you're a luchador and then you wear a costume on top of your luchador mask, it can be confusing to people.
So here's the
apparently.
funny thing, is that no one recognized him. Cody Von Whistler walks up to El Hombre Secreto and immediately is like, "Oh, you're Dustin from Stranger Things." And he was just like completely floored.
Yeah.
everybody
made
else thought you
Hombre's
were the
night.
wrght from 30 Rock.
Yep, that's what I thought. Yeah, I thought
Everybody
it was
thought
Frank.
it was Frank. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I guess the only difference there would have been you didn't,
have a catchphrase on
yeah,
the
exactly.
thing.
They could
Yeah.
have said like podcasting luchador. And
I'm
then it would have been...
gonna pimp myself. I dressed up as Bailey.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
And then I found another Bailey,
Yeah.
and then we found a
A tube
wacky
man.
waving inflatable flailing arm tube man.
Yeah.
that was amazing.
And we took a picture, and I actually got sent a GIF as well
Oh, man.
of the animation. But our friend Dan, who is the tube man, posted it on Twitter, and then Bailey liked it. So I can...
What?
Yeah, no, it
I
was pretty
didn't-
sweet. It was pretty fucking sweet.
That's cool. It also proves that she's out there and she's watching.
She is watching.
Impress her.
Although I watched Raw and they showed everybody's costumes and mine wasn't on TV, and I'm like, this is bullshit. Anyway.
Well, yours was like so good. They were probably like, oh, they might just think it's her.
Yeah.
There you go.
I got a
Like,
sewing
why would
machine,
you
I
post a
cheated.
picture of Bailey? Like,
So the other thing, this being horror business, is that almost everyone was in costume.
Yes.
Almost
Yes.
everyone. We'll get to that later. But the start was Led Lawless, the Solid Steel ring announcer, was dressed as the weirdest boner.
Yeah, so I didn't get his costume right away. I was like, he had pink balls on his shins.
Yes.
Like they were ace bandaged.
Yeah, and here's the thing, for the audience that is not from
Oh man,
Seattle,
are you gonna like wrestling nerd fan about his boner costume? All right, just go.
I'm just gonna go. He's a bald man,
Yes.
and he basically wrote a line on the top of his head.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
And he
That was it.
had the Dick's Drive-In t-shirt.
yeah,
Yeah,
he did.
it was good. I mean, at one point, somebody, I was out drinking with some friends before the show, and they're texting me, oh, how's the wrestling going? And I said, I just watched a grown man dressed as a broner get stroked off. Because there was that guy, like, hugging him up
Oh,
and
yeah,
down.
that-
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
And then the matches begin. So, referee Chris Samuels of Proposing in the Ring fame
Yes.
came
Oh,
out as
God.
Lil Nate.
Yeah,
and,
he had the robe that said Chris Samuels on it.
Yeah, I was almost like he
I
came
was
out.
impressed.
Yeah.
I was super impressed, and also like he looked so amazing that I was like, dude, is Chris Samuels gonna fight? And he took off his robe and he was in referee gear. I'm like, that was
pretty good.
Right, like I've never seen a ref with entrance music.
Like
So-
that.
Right, and it was kind of one of those moments where I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was really good. Good
Yeah.
job, Chris Samuels.
So this is a really good first booking because like everyone's entrance and like ring attire and temporary or current songs all like lined up really well with the costumes and the
Yes.
themes
Yes.
and stuff. So you know the potentially best solid heels in the show, the
The Hellfire
Hellfire
Club,
Club
yeah.
come out. And Sarian, that fucking guy,
Sarian. God
like-
damn it.
Trailer Park Boys on crack kind of.
Yeah, so
Uh.
they basically came out as lifeguards
Yeah.
because Steve West is dressing as Jason of the Friday the 13th fame.
Yes.
And Brittany, what shirt was he wearing?
Oh my god. So he's wearing a shirt, it's got the Jason mask, and then it says No Lives Matter. And this is Seattle, which is one of the most liberal crowds
Yeah.
ever. And you just hear like this silence go over the room when he takes his jacket off and people read it. And
And
they're
just like there's an oh shit moment.
there's an oh
Yeah.
shit moment where people are like, did he actually just do this?
Because there's enough people there who might not remember the Jason part and get all like upset.
Yeah, because that's the immediately
More on them
like-
getting upset at
I'm
the
laughing my ass off because I'm fucking huge Friday the 13th fan.
And I think
Yeah.
it's great too because the positioning of them in the ring and where we were sitting, like Steve West takes off his jacket, has the No Lives Matter thing, and I'm just trying to be like shocked, but at the same time, Sarian's leaning on the rope and his shorts just keep getting shorter and shorter every week. So I'm like trying to not be distracted by his like very glaringly white skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just being offended by this shirt. I'm like, what the fuck is going to happen
The
next?
underbutt is neither subtle nor tasteful.
It's great.
So then Eddie Van Glam makes his comeback with the whole family.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen Mitzi for a while.
Wow.
Yeah, not since like well before Battlemania.
Right.
Even.
So she
almost
makes
like
her
a year.
return, and Eddie is now Freddy Van Glam for this show. Full Freddy Krueger
Yeah,
outfit,
like basically
attention to
puts
detail to the max.
puts Finn Balor to shame with
Yeah.
the amount of body paint and the attention to detail.
Yeah,
it's absolutely insane.
Like the way we will describe it will not do it justice. Go to facebook.com/321battle to see these fucking
You
pictures.
just, oh my god, it's just
Because
so
then, on top of all that, as ridiculously good as that looks, he walks out with his newborn baby with the baby earmuffs to protect the little delicate
yeah.
ears,
But-
and hands the baby off. And so we just saw wrestling Freddy Krueger hand a baby off. And that determined how the night was going to go.
There's an amazing picture I saw floating around, like Eddie's standing there with his Freddy his Freddy claw, and he's got the sweater, which is sequins by the way.
Sequin sweater.
Sequin Freddy Krueger sweater, and then he's got the hat, he's like got the whole thing, and he's like has his baby in the crook of his arm, and the baby and him are making the exact same face.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's almost like exactly photoshopped because you're like, oh yeah, this is this kid's dad. Okay,
Yeah.
no,
Awesome.
it was perfect. Like there's some amazing photos. Their photographers are fantastic.
Yeah, so he takes off the sequin shirt, And like I thought, oh my god, such a great paint job on his face. His entire body is
literal.
painted. Painted with like the Freddy, scars burning,
He's got like a hand coming up from his boxers, like finger inside one of the scars.
It was like almost too
with
good.
Like a guitar down the back.
Yeah,
threaded
it was
inside the skin
terrifyingly
scars.
good.
It was
At the end of the show, when you expect a bit of it to maybe even sweat it off or rub it off, it was completely still there. He was basically completely unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Like, if they didn't tell me it was him, I wouldn't have known other than, like, recognizing, like, his silhouette, right?
Yeah.
That's how, like, different he was. So.
Yeah. Also, one little small detail, in his music, he actually put in the sound of the claw scraping the rope.
Ah.
And I was like, oh my god. Like, it was just like a little small attention to detail.
Nice. He's a performer.
Yeah,
I love it.
Oh my god.
So this match is great. It's awesome to see these two guys in the ring again. Van Glen doesn't go over the top rope very often.
No, he doesn't.
I don't remember the last time he did, but he did like a flip off the top rope into the entirety of Hellfire Club. And just crazy, crazy shit, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't seen a match end in a disqualification in a long time.
Yeah.
It's normally, even when you've got a bunch of heels and assholes in the ring, like they still cleanly finish the match in some capacity. Like there's interference with the ref or something happens, but like a clean disqualification is kind of like, oh, this is interesting and different.
Yeah.
And then the air guitar comes out.
Yeah.
So this was probably my first favorite moment of the show because the people sitting in front of us, it was their first show.
Yeah, they were having a great time.
They were having a great time because they had no idea what to expect. They show up at a wrestling show and then suddenly you have Freddy Krueger versus all No Lives Matter. Like it's crazy, right? So Eddie pulls out his guitar case, opens it up, and the crowd just starts like cheering. And the ladies in front of me are like, "There's nothing in the case. Like, what's supposed to be in the case?" And I'm like, "It's an air guitar." Oh! And then they were just sold the rest of it.
Mind.
They lost their goddamn minds because Eddie swings the air guitar, hits the Hellfire Club, and then just sparkles everywhere.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was an amazing effect. Like I did not see that coming.
I want to mention that I talked about one wrestling move during this entire match. Like everything else is just so great. I love the theatrics. Of the show.
It was. Yeah, that was a lot of the with each match. Like there was a lot of attention to detail on just telling a really awesome, funny, cool story.
I mean, when they say it's their second biggest show of the year, it's like their fucking second biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so we go from Freddy versus Jason to Pokemon versus Digimon. So Herman Nerdstrom comes out as a Pokemon trainer, which, I mean, like, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
This was the most obvious costume. If you told me to guess who was dressing up.
Yeah, but then Weekend Warrior comes out, and I have no idea who he's going to come out. I was like, alright, he's coming out to Digimon. I'm not going to recognize... He comes out as a fucking Digimon. Like, not like a character. No, like an actual monster.
Yeah.
With painted up, and it just looks fucking nuts.
He had the shave for it.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Yeah. So that was super cool.
I think my favorite moment was Nerdstrom goes to the corner, grabs the Pokeball, and then lights flash, and Pikachu just shows up. And it's one of those moments where you're kind of wondering like whether or not this is actually going to go over with the audience. But then I remember we all just sang the Pokemon theme song as he's coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting next to my mom, who's like turning 55 next week. And is in a full like leather Catwoman suit, and she's just laughing her ass off this whole time.
Yeah,
like it's just a ridiculous sight. And then the Pikachu's just standing there with like the peace sign up, like yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was
so good.
So, Weekend's Dad Bod Squad shirt.
Oh my god.
I was like close to getting that one because we've been referencing a little bit, but having a kid soon. So I figure Weekend Warrior. Yeah, well, you'll have to find a replacement. Weekend.
Just start recording at your house.
Good fucking luck with that one. Weekend Warrior shirt. It's like, all right, this will play. This is pretty cool. Got to work on that dad bod, right?
Yeah.
But he pulls out the win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Herman put on a good match.
Yeah, no, they both did. It was great. It was an awesome match to watch.
Yeah, everything is just like, oh my god, how can this show get better?
Yeah, everybody's hitting their stuff. There's not too many botches, and even if they are, like everybody's recovering from them really well. It's really good. And then so we move on to the next match, and we get the referees are also dressed up.
Yeah, we have Little Nate, Chris Samuels.
Yeah, so we get a sexy referee. Kind of. It's just he's a ballerina. What was going on there?
It was a refereena.
A refereena.
It was what looked like a very capital V cut.
Yeah.
Top with a tutu. And then maybe some garter belts. I don't know if they were borrowed from Eddie.
Yeah.
But it was definitely.
Yeah. That was.
Okay. It was awesome. It was commitment.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know what it was, but it was commitment.
But it was.
Yeah.
So and then Dante Smythe comes out as himself, the only one who would not cave to the capitalist holiday nature of Halloween.
Goths just hate Halloween.
Right.
Yeah. Which I thought was good.
Yeah.
The best part about that one was as he's coming out to the ring, I know actually a match before I noticed what I figured was his fan, but I'm like, holy crap, Dante's got a fan. And I kept trying to get your guys' attention and all the other shit going on you guys didn't see until Dante came out and was standing right next to the guy, and this fan had his own notebook.
Yeah.
It just said meh.
Yeah.
Oh my
which
God.
was super awesome, and eventually had a role to play in the match.
Yeah.
Against Braden Tegger as Bishop.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty great.
Yeah, no, his costume was awesome.
I was kind of surprised he did a costume. I figured he would just also come out in a suit and talk shit about how Halloween's for fucking idiots or something.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. What I do like about it though is that he played the X-Men song, and then did not come out until his actual entrance music hit.
Yeah.
Because of course.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, this was match of the night.
This was it's for me. It was definitely top contender for match of the night. It was way better than anybody expected it to be.
Yeah. Well, because these guys are both kind of lower mid card.
Yeah.
Right? Braden just debuted a couple shows back.
Yeah.
Dante's been kind of doing a couple singles matches here and there. But I don't think anyone expected this to be as good as it was.
Just the back and forth at the beginning, the counters, the test of strength counters.
They had a lot of chain wrestling, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of chain
Which
wrestling.
is different, because a lot of the guys are either high flyers or they're silly.
Yeah.
But to see real good chain wrestling isn't necessarily... it was a brawl.
Yeah, it was great. A lot of really good moves used throughout. There was I don't like to get too technical in terms of talking about it on the podcast.
I like to just enjoy the show.
But it was really just so well done. A lot of really cool moves that we saw. He did a sleeper that turned into a DDT.
It was the sleeper hold that turned into a DDT, which I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And first win for Dante.
Yes!
Yes!
Oh my god! I watched, I'd taken a recording of the match and I watched it back and the entire babyface section just erupted. It was awesome. Super good. That guy's been working hard. Proud of him.
Yep. So after that match ends, Tiger's got to get his shots in and, grabs the notebook, but that's where the Dante fan comes in to save the day.
Throws his
Throws his notebook
notebook in.
in, so Dante at least has something to sort of record this great moment in.
That's awesome.
So
I like it.
that was pretty awesome. So then we move on to the ridiculous four-corner tag match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And entering first is Hellfire Club as Butt Street USA. They call out to the fabulous Freebirds, all complete with Confederate flags and big hair wigs. It was amazing.
I didn't think No Lives Matter could be topped for offensive. And then Sarian comes out in a poncho that looks like the Confederate flag.
Yeah.
And I heard that a couple people just got up and left.
Yeah.
Which is
surprising.
Excellent heel work, by the way.
Compared to the two, I would think they leave over the No Lives Matter a little more recent. It's not like Confederacy
No, I
is a
think
surprise.
that's more of a you really have to understand the whole Black Lives Matter and
Yeah.
why
Yeah,
it's
and you-
important.
you
blah,
can
blah, blah.
almost
Whereas
take-
everyone knows the Confederate flag
Yeah,
is.
you can almost take the joke because it's it's Jason.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the joke. Whereas the Confederate flag is it's the Confederate fucking flag.
There's no joke there, guys. This dude's a racist.
Yeah.
Sage pulled off a pretty great Michael Hayes. He had the crop top. He was doing the dance.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Sage pulled off great Michael Hayes, but three of them were dressed as Michael Hayes.
It was so good.
He's still really the most memorable of the Fabulous Freebirds.
Yeah.
I don't even know the other three. I just know
Terry Gordy is the other memorable one, and he died.
Yeah.
So anyways.
It got dark.
Yeah.
So Kitty K and Gentleman Brawler Eric Wright
Yes.
were one of the other teams.
I'm really happy to see Gentleman Brawler again.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good.
The people were really liking his mustache in the crowd.
Yes.
It's a solid mustache.
And Makabe and Uncle Muscles.
Yes!
came out.
Just as Mariners fans.
Yeah.
Which I think was great because they're Canadian.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. And then it was announced that Big Cat and the Wolf dude
Oh yeah,
were beat
Keenan
up.
Talbane.
Yeah. Fur and Loathing.
But Big Cat made his way out anyway. So it was he was in a handicap version of that. So
Yeah.
and anyone could tag anyone, which was fun.
Yeah.
Led to some interesting hijinks.
I think it's a good way to end out the first half.
Yeah.
But
sure.
there was a whole sequence where Sarian's standing in the middle and just getting chopped
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
constantly, and then another person stands up and he does a whole circle of chops again. Another person stands up. He does a whole other circle of chops.
And he was asking for the chops.
He was too. It was like, and then at one point he was just, ah! And just falls straight on his back.
Yeah, he got fucked up. And one of the best moments of that match was everyone involved in the match performed it was a 4-on-3 suplex.
I've never
So they
seen
kept
that in
chaining
my
it. They
life
kept
on
lemmings
any-
one person. So they're setting up for the traditional like 2-on-1.
Yeah, 2-on-1.
And then it became a 2-on-2. Then it became a 3-on-2. Yeah, and they just kept building it up.
I've
so.
never seen that many ever in my life.
Yeah,
on
I
a
thought the
single
ring
show.
was gonna go.
Yeah.
And everybody.
Just explosion.
Yeah, so everybody cheered, and that set us up for the world famous 10-minute intermission.
Yep.
We all went to the lobby. We kept drinking.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
so the first half of the show was super solid.
Yeah.
It was like it kept making you think, wow, this is going to live up to the hype.
Yeah, my first thought was like, wow, that was so good. Man, second half is good. Like
That's okay. That's the WWE fan in you.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at 3, 2, 1, they keep it going.
They keep it going. They really do. But I'm like, dude, that was like solid. Every match was just like super entertaining. Like that's a high bar to live up to.
Yep.
And yet we get into the second half.
Yeah, well, the second half, I mean, had a good lineup as well. So I had hope that they'd live up to it.
Yeah.
Like it's the point where, like, if the 3, 2, 1 thing is not good, it's like a complete surprise.
Right,
And
right,
I'd
right.
argue that I've only had like 1 or 2 matches out of now almost a year of going to their stuff or watching the stream that I could ever say like I was bored.
Yeah, no,
Again, I'll always go there compared to WWE, where like if I enjoy 15% of the show, I think it was a good WWE show.
Right, right.
Whereas like if I not enjoy 15% of a 3, 2, 1 show, I'd be stunned. Right?
Yeah.
So like those guys kill it. The debut of the tag titles
Yeah.
were next, and the podcast had a little bit to do with that.
I may or may not have helped a little bit.
Yeah.
Favor of a friend.
Yeah.
To just kind of make sure that they made the finish line on the assembly.
Yeah.
But
What are they? Were they just normal tag titles?
so they were probably the most 3-2-1 title that in hindsight I could have guessed. But you know those best friend necklaces
Yes.
that like you have in middle school or elementary school.
And they separate and
They
live
separate,
together.
and it's like a heart, and one's his best, and one's his friend. And
Yes.
there are literal championships that are this. Like it's like a medal that you
I
get
didn't
at
see
the
it up
Olympics.
close. Does it say like tag and then
It
team?
says tag team,
Nice.
like 3-2-1.
That's
It's
great.
oh my god, they're so good, and it's just perfect.
Yeah.
Right. So what happens next is there's 5 teams in a gauntlet match. So Trevor Moody and Ace Jack both come back. First time since I think Battlemania.
Yep.
Yeah.
They've both been gone for bits. So this was awesome to see these guys back.
Yeah.
Versus Krakatoa and the Hellfire Club.
Yep.
Oh my god, I love Hellfire Club.
Hellfire Club is so good.
Yeah, he's getting better.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, like he is so good.
So now to get this early in the match, though, you would have to win basically 4 matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like insane.
Right. So in a way, it's kind of like Royal Rumble. Like getting out there first, kind of
It's not good.
Yeah.
Kind of shitty. But Trevor Moody and Ace Jack end up winning.
Yep.
And then for some reason, Krakatoa just choke slams.
What do you mean for some
Hellfire
reason?
Club?
Obviously, it was Cub's mistake in Krakatoa's mind, so he had to,
Makes
tough
sense,
love.
makes sense.
I just
Yeah.
think it's the gimmick of like Hellfire Club is gonna get chokeslammed at the end of every show.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm down with that. I'm down with that. If that's the reason, then that's all the reason you need.
Yep.
Trevor Moody and Ace Jack versus Seds and Kevin Mathis, who's new.
Yeah.
And this was awesome.
They had their
The kendo sticks.
Well, they had the sticks, of course, but
Right.
the white like lab coats.
They had the coats, and they had like their names.
They were
painted on them.
basically like something. It felt like a 24 hours later Center for Disease Control kind of like zombie
28
outbreak
days
kind of,
later.
outbreak kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I like it.
Yeah.
Because it kind of plays on the whole like psychiatric ward thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because
I like it.
if I remember, it did feel like they had like some kind of like fake blood situation going on those things.
Yeah, I was
don't
so
know.
drunk, I was just like, yeah,
Everything's
bad
blurred.
doctors, yeah!
Yeah, exactly.
So Cez and Kevin win this.
Right.
Then the Siege comes out, and these are like my personal favorite guys to win this thing.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I'm super
absolutely.
pumped at this point. And I love that the Siege basically pulled an Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Like the ref got blinded, they pull out the kendo sticks, beat them with their own weapons, and then threw them at them and laid down on their back so they would get disqualified.
Yeah.
And it was so good. Like there's just certain things in wrestling that like never really get old.
No.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That was super dope.
So they were. It was like ZZ Hendrix and who was Tommy?
I think maybe he was like Harlequin because he
Yeah.
had
Oh
like,
yeah, he was Harlequin.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Because
So that was
there
their
has to be at
costumes.
least one, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then the most like, if you think like Otis and Milo already like off the hook.
Right,
And
like
so
how
they came
crazy are
out
they gonna be,
as
right?
fucking preppies, which
Yeah.
was hilarious.
Like
They had masks?
They had their regular masks, and then
Yeah.
they had like preppy masks over them.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was
And then they wore
terrifying.
It was
khakis,
very terrifying.
khakis and polos.
Yeah. Polos that were tucked in.
Like, I've seen so many weird, scary costumes. That scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
I like it.
Yeah, so the Siege pulls out the win to
They're
be
victorious.
to be the first ever 3-2-1 battle tag team champions.
Yes,
And
they've earned it.
it's been a year. Following the leaving of Draven.
Because Draven left in March.
Yeah,
March or
so
April.
it's been at least like 6 to 8 months of
Since
them.
Battlemania. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just been they've been putting on show after show after show after show.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, I can't be happier for another tag team. Like they've been putting the work in. So,
Yep,
Yeah.
they earned it. It was as soon as they came out, I'm like, this has got to be them. Like,
Yeah.
it's the right choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then we've got Coach dressed as a bunny, but not like as like a bunny. Like
He wasn't in a bunny suit.
no, he had like bunny ears and then like a nose quickly drawn on, and it was exactly how you would imagine if you were in high school and your coach was told that he had to wear a costume on Halloween.
Yeah.
Like that is what he looked like.
Yep.
Right.
It was a perfect like just representation of his character as a whole.
Yeah.
Bat Boy with like the full-on wings
Yeah.
and the body paint and fucking crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like more bat than boy, more bat than usual.
And then your referee, Leprechaun Cena,
Oh my god.
which led to, at that point in the night, fairly drunk people trying to chant Leprechaun Cena sucks and like not really
No,
doing that
no,
good of a
no.
job at it.
Failing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That's too many syllables for that level of
understand
drinking.
cadence of cheers. And,
Yeah.
and-
Cadence goes out the window when you're drunk.
Yeah.
So that match, I mean, it was a pretty good match. It was clearly the like get your emotions in check match because the following match
Oh.
was the 3-2-1 Solid Steel Championship match of the Joker versus the Riddler, or otherwise known as Cole Crazy versus Mr. Fitness.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
do like that they coordinated their costumes much like Nerdstrom and Weekend did earlier. Like,
Yeah,
and,
well-
and it was good. It was like a good combination too. So
Yeah, like it fit the characters
Right.
Cole Crazy as almost the Batman,
Like the Heath Ledger.
the Heath Ledger Batman.
Yep.
And then you have freaking Fitness as more of the 70s era the
Yeah.
TV
like the
show.
the little purple trim on his
Oh my
pants.
Yeah, it was
The
super
little
good.
Purple bandana. It's like,
He was so
good,
happy.
so
he was
good.
so
Yeah.
happy when he came out.
And,
So Fitness comes out with his entourage. He's
Yep.
got Jimmy Flame,
Mm-hmm.
who's a cowboy.
Yeah, he was just cowboy.
Yeah, he looks like a Trump supporter. I don't know. But Kiwanis has for our people who aren't local listeners and don't go to the shows. Kiwanis Adonis he's a big guy. He's got this giant handlebar mustache and some glasses, and he wears a fez. His costume was literally a fez that was like a mega fez.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It took over his entire face and almost rested on his shoulders. But the
Yeah.
fez also had glasses and the handlebar mustache.
Yeah, it's basically like Dark Helmet from Spaceballs.
Yes.
It was amazing.
And then he took off
Also, part of the joke of his gimmick is that he always takes off the glasses to reveal glasses underneath his
Right, and
glasses.
he had a tiny little fez.
And he takes off his neck brace to reveal another neck brace underneath. So this was like super duper meta. Like,
Yes.
takes off himself to reveal himself.
I love it. It was so good. Probably my favorite costume, because it's silly regardless, but you're rewarded as a loyal fan seeing this thing happen.
And the podcast was leveraged along with a few other plants in the crowd to
Some loyal
to
3,
throw
2, 1.
streamers Ring of Honor style at the appropriate time as the ring announcements were made.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
They tried to do the streamers back at Battlemania, and I think part of the thing that we forget often when we go to 321 shows is that 321 fans are not necessarily wrestling fans.
Correct.
Like, my mom hates fucking wrestling, and she goes to every 321 show, and she loves it.
Yeah.
And she really likes the bar in the lobby now, so thanks, Lauren. But they tried to do the streamers thing, and it totally didn't work, and it kind of loses the effect and the emotion. But when you hand streamers to the right people who understand how this works, you have Fitness who has green streamers, outside of like one that went a little bit early, but everyone's excited.
Yeah.
And then Cole Crazy, which were black and white, and all just happened at the right time.
It just looked amazing.
It just looks so good, and it just totally set the tone for
I was
this
like,
match.
like for people that are like the first time, it's like, oh shit, this is important.
The women in front of us were like, oh, this is a big deal.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
which is why you do the streamers, right?
Yeah.
Kyle, you saw there was someone who was nudging at Fitness and talking shit to him during the match.
Oh yeah, people. Fitness is like firmly a heel now, right?
Yes.
Right.
Um, And which has been crazy. I mean, I started watching them about a year ago, and he was totally face back when I started watching them.
Yeah,
So
yes, me
he's
too.
done a flawless transition to heel. I mean, it's pretty easy if you're the Fitness person.
He is pretty
Yeah,
flawless.
Because like when you're the face, you just like all the ladies like you, and then when you're a bad guy, you just tell all the guys they're fat and they suck, and you're gonna get their girlfriends.
That's
So
really easy.
yeah. That said, he doesn't lean on that. He goes all the way.
Yeah.
And so this one guy was like, "Hey, fuck you, Fitness!" And the Fitness stops everything he's doing and looks at the guy and says, "You wish, buddy. You wish."
And it was like at a moment.
And at a
where-
moment, it was quiet enough.
Yes.
In between chants, in between Cody saying stuff,
It was just that perfect little moment.
Like, didn't he have like Cole Crazy's hair?
Yes.
in his
Yeah,
hand?
Yeah.
he had him down. Yeah, it was. It couldn't have been planned better. So that was just like a funny little moment that made me laugh.
Yeah.
And it's really tough actually because like we appreciate both like the good work of like faces and heels.
Yeah.
But at the show we sit in the face section, so we kind of like under our breath have to cheer the fun heel moments.
Yeah.
Like there are times when the heels will do dastardly shit, and we kind of like have to like sort of laugh into
I have to
like
stop
our hands.
myself from clapping a lot.
Well, yeah, because like they're really good at it.
I'm trying
so,
to play my role.
Yeah.
And our
as
role
a
there
part of
in the
audience.
face section is to cheer for the good guys and boo the bad
Which
guys.
is fine.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
totally
I
fine.
love it.
I love being in the face section because
Yeah.
I'm normally an asshole.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
It's
a nice
great
change of pace.
Yeah.
Nice change of pace.
So this match, this is why I had the argument of like, Dante's match, definitely arguably one of the best of the show.
This one would rival it.
Yes.
This one was very good.
Yeah, like everybody's hitting their spots like flawlessly, and it's just like one after the other after the other.
And every hit is hard.
Yeah.
And with intention.
Yeah.
Cody does a shooting star press off of the apron to the floor.
Yeah, Cole Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, Cole Crazy. It was just, oh my god.
See,
it was
that's why
insane.
I would rate this one above that other one, because that one was a surprise, a pleasant surprise, and there wasn't the expectation.
Yeah.
Like, they had a good match in the match that was supposed to be the best match. So, like, you gotta give props for executing,
Yeah,
right?
hitting
it's
that,
not like there was any
hitting that
letdowns
bar
or anything.
that was set was
Yeah.
definitely. It was,
And also, like, I mean, Cole Crazy, friend of the podcast,
Yes.
came on here, basically called out, like, their creative and was like, hey, give me my shot now. I've been doing my time.
That was months ago.
Yeah.
Months ago, built up to it, and had it. And so, like, I mean, I was rooting for him the whole way.
Yeah.
And was very happy it happened. Like, I don't usually, like, I'll say a nice match if I see one of the wrestlers around, but I don't, like, go out of my way to conversate and debate with them.
Yeah.
But in this case, since he'd been on the podcast and like Facebook, but I sent him a message like, hey man, super proud of you. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And
That's so good.
I saw he threw the belt in his fridge, which is awesome.
that's what you should do.
Yep, that's what you do. Make sure everything's clean in there. You don't want to get any moldy old sandwiches or anything on the belt. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all big fans of Cole Crazy, and we're all so happy for him.
Super proud of him.
And fuck fitness. So
Yeah. So they had that. They had the awesome moment where they, the wrestlers, good guys came out and raised him up on their shoulders and walked him around. And most of the people went home thinking that was all, but apparently that was
And then
not
there was
all.
a wedding.
There was a wedding at a wrestling show,
I
guys.
don't know how it happened, but
Well, they had to top a proposal, I guess.
Yeah, I
Now-
guess.
apparently. Yeah, so I was just hanging out after the show helping clean up or whatever, and then Eddie gets in the ring, and I learned that he's an ordained minister and he has all of the certification needed to actually marry people. And then two people get into the ring, and it's like, wait, this is actually happening? He's like, yes, guys, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
So I think Coach rolls into the ring, and then I'm like, well, fuck it. I roll into the ring. And, I was a witness in somebody's wedding. And then, the paperwork actually comes out, and I had to sign shit.
Yeah.
And, the bride's sitting there holding her Rainier, puts it down to sign the paperwork, picks it back up, and then they leave. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
I love wrestling.
It was surreal.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, I would say if it wasn't, you know what, looking back on it and just talking about it here, it was better than Battlemania.
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah, Battlemania to me, holy shit, that show was amazing.
That was the best show I had seen in a very, very long time, overall. Just
Yeah.
wrestling.
Yeah.
And I think the more wrestling you watch, the more you appreciate the attention to detail, the intricacies, both in the actual match, in the entrances, in the character development.
Everybody
They make
put
it
in
harder
so-
to execute. So usually with Battlemania and for this one, they're longer shows because they want to try to get almost all their people in, and then they also generally have a good deal of guests.
Yes.
So it's actually harder for them to keep their quality bar. So the fact that they exceed it then is even more impressive, I think.
Yeah,
You got to give them
absolutely.
props for that.
Absolutely.
Because they're trying to basically find a spot for everyone, which can make it tough, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they still
Yeah.
did. So I would agree, they did a super awesome job making that happen, and that's no small feat.
Yeah, for sure.
So 3-2-1 Battle continues to be awesome. Their next show is the 18th of November. B-Boy will be returning.
Yeah.
Not sure who he's going to be facing yet, but guarantee that match is going to be amazing.
He is already on the social medias called out. He's noticed and called out Cole Crazy, so
It's hey, just saw you win the title.
that would be
That's
pretty
cool.
awesome.
I'm like,
that match was fucking
By the way,
ridiculous.
remember when I beat him?
Yeah, it was so good.
If you're listening to the podcast right now and you're in Seattle, if you're in Seattle, it is Evolve Fitness is in
On Republican Street in South Lake Union.
right near the REI. So check it out. But if you want more info, go to facebook.com/321battle for more information. And they have live streams, so for people that aren't able to come out to Seattle,
For our
you can see-
5 listeners in the Netherlands, you can totally watch the show.
the show is amazing.
And
You
should.
need to watch the show.
You are doing yourself a disservice if you are not watching this show.
Yeah, if you have nothing to do on a Friday night, watch this shit. This is dope.
November 18th. Make yourself an appointment right now.
Yep.
Sorry, an appointment.
Yeah, set that shit in your calendar.
Yeah, so create a Google Calendar with a 10-minute reminder so that you...
Yeah.
I work in an office.
All right. So here's the cane that pulls the person off the stage. That'll wrap it up for this week. If you like the podcast, you can find us on Twitter at OnTheHeelsWP and on Facebook.com/OnTheHeelsWP. You can find our podcast through all the services: iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, whatever. Do it.
Subscribe to the podcast, leave comments, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, and of course, tell your wrestling buddies about the podcast. Message us, tweet us, talk to us, tell us random wrestling stuff. We love it.
Yes, we do. Thank you for listening to On the Heels Wrestling Podcast. Tune in to our next episode. We'll be recapping Raw and
Can I say it? Hell in a Cell.
that. So
It was me, Austin.
it was me all along. Hell in a Cell and the Raw after. And then after all of that, we'll ask ourselves the eternal question: will Baby Van Glam be working on the docks?
Is he halfway there?
Yeah. Will he have to hold on to what he's got?
These are all.
Is he ready or not?
Yeah.
It's tough to say.
Tomorrow you will stand at the
gotta
beamer
hold on.
and pray. Tonight gaze at the moon and bathe. Werewolf for mitzvah. On the Heels Wrestling Podcast. Maybe call me Wolf. Werewolf for mitzvah, spooky, scary, boys becoming men, men becoming wolves.